How's it going, everybody? I am a donut, and we are reacting to Daredevil Season 1, Episode 1. I will look up the title before we actually start. I kind of forgot to do that before we did all this. But, yeah, we're starting a new series. Still part of the MCU. The way I'm going to be doing the MCU from now on, in order to get through it at a quicker pace, Okay, so I'm watching all the MCU from start to finish, including the movies and the TV shows. Now, I might drop some TV shows. I'm not saying that I'm definitely gonna watch all the TV shows, but I'm gonna give them a chance. So I don't want there to be, a couple months where all we're watching is Daredevil, all we're watching is this random TV show. Because if we were doing it all in exact release order, that would be the case. So what we're going to be doing is 2 main MCU slots, which is I'm counting as the MCU movies and S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as Agent Carter. Those 3 entities, those 3 properties, I'm counting all as one slot, okay? And that's just happening in release order. The MCU movies, S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Agent Carter, the TV series. I'm counting all 3 of those things as one entity, and that will be one time slot. I believe that is Wednesday. 2 are coming out on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's 1 episode of Daredevil a week, and it'll be 1 episode each. Every other kind of TV show, any of the other ones that I didn't mention in those 3, anything that's not Shield or Agent Carter, will be this 3rd slot in release order. So it's Daredevil, and then what's next? I can check really quick to find what we're doing next after this. I'm not sure if it's gonna be all the Netflix series back. Yeah, it does seem like that. So Jessica Jones will be next. Then it'll be Daredevil Season 2. Then it'll be Luke Cage Season 1. And so on and so forth. So it does seem like we'll be doing mostly the Netflix series for a while. And then we're going to get into some of the other ones. But anyway, so that's the plan. That's what's going on here. If you are, new to the channel or not, that's the schedule we're doing. So yeah, new Daredevil reaction comes out every Thursday. If we stick with it. As always, I'm not definitely gonna stick with these shows, but I'm gonna give them the chance. That said, what do I know about Daredevil? Also, the reason why I'm doing the TV shows out of release order, like as opposed to everything else, is because apparently they don't really the movies or even like Shield itself doesn't really tie into them at all, really, except for the first Avengers. So I figured if it's not really that important at all, if they really don't come up any similarities, then I guess it's fine to do it this way. If not, if my information on that is correct, I'm going off of what somebody told me. If you think that there is more tie-ins and everything like that, even if it's not direct, even if it's just references and stuff, if there is a certain time where I have to have seen all this other stuff before I watch a certain TV show, please let me know. That said, I think we're all out of the way. If you want to watch my full-length reactions, $8 a month. It's picture-in-picture. You don't have to sync it up. You don't have to have your own files. I do it myself. Don't worry. Picture-in-picture. It's all good. Early access, $4 a month. Check it out on the Patreon. And then let's just get into it. No, I interrupted myself. I was starting to say, what do I know about Daredevil? I know he's blind. That's all I know. That's literally all I know. I guess based off of the name, I don't know if that's just because he's blind and he still does superhero stuff that's why he's a Daredevil, or if there's more to it, like if he is an adrenaline junkie maybe. But yeah, that's all I know. I don't know if he actually has superpowers or not. I'm hoping he does, because I'm really not a fan of superheroes that don't have superpowers, like Batman. I'm not a fan of vigilantes, and I think there's a big difference between vigilantism and being a superhero. But yeah, so let's get into it. Alright, so that was the pilot of Daredevil, Season 1, Episode 1. I didn't say the name of it, it was Into the Ring, which is very fitting. But yeah, so Matt Murdock is his name, the main character. We also have Foggy, and then Karen Page is also the girl. Really don't know how I feel about Karen Page being, a regular member of this now. Not too fond of her, don't really like her at all. I find her to be an incredible idiot. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe she's only in the first season. Probably she's going to stick around for all 3, I assume. But yeah, so I hope that she gets better over time. But I like Foggy. He's funny. Matt, so far, I like him, but he's very Gary Stewish right now, kind of. Like he, I don't know. He seems too perfect. I would like to see a little bit more of like his problems. Um, but yeah, that's really all I have to say about him. Is like he's cool, he's a badass, but I also want to see some personal problems of his own. I mean, which seems to be stuff regarding his father and the fact that he, you know, seemingly loses control of himself a little bit. But I feel like we'll get that more in the next episode. We sort of got a little bit with the confession in this episode, but that was before he did it, and now the after he did it is what I'm a little bit more interested in. But yeah, so like even as a kid when he was blinded by the chemicals, saved an old man's life. Even as a kid, he was heroic. Yeah, I already talked about him confessing his sins and talking about having the devil within. That like the Murdoch boys seem like good people. His father as well seemed like a good guy. But then occasionally they lose themselves and they just get completely brutal. Like what happened in this fight where it was kind of a, you know, just fisticuff fight, and then towards the end when he got them all chained up, he was just beating the shit out of them when he didn't need to anymore. He it was over, but he continued even further past the end point of the fight. And I think that's what we're getting with, is he takes things too far. Yeah, like normally calm and very suave, but then turns into a raging bull. I do like that. I do like how different he is when he's in the mask and when he isn't. It's incredibly different. Though it is like I said how cool his outfit was, but they should pretty easily. I mean, like they should be able to narrow it down that it's a blind man pretty easily. Which then they should be able to narrow down to it being Murdoch, the lawyer that is on the radar. So they're gonna know it's Murdoch at some point. They have to, because Murdoch is blind, and the killer fights with a mask that is over his eyes in which he couldn't see. I mean, they don't have to narrow down that he is blind. They could think maybe he has a superpower where he doesn't need to see to be able to do the thing. But by the way, I don't think he actually has. I brought that up a few times throughout my reaction of like, does he, doesn't he? I don't think it is. I think it's just, again, super hearing, essentially. He can hear someone's heartbeat changing. He can hear the kid from way across the, like, it's superhero in the sense that, like, you'd never actually be able to do that in real life if you're blind. Like, being blind or whatever doesn't heighten your senses. But so it's not a superpower, but it's just like a, you know, it's one of those just go with it kind of like they're that power, you know, it's not, you can't say they're that strong. They're that, I don't know, mentally acute or whatever. But, yeah. There was a water tower in the opening. I don't know if that's important or if that's going to come up again. Like we have the Statue of Liberty, or not the Statue of Liberty, sorry, what the hell is that called? The Liberty Justice? Is that what it is? I can't remember the name of it. The lady with the scales. I can't remember the fucking name of that. But yeah, we had that, and we have like the San Francisco Bridge and everything like that. So like, is the water tower just like a famous California thing that I don't know about? Maybe it's going to be important in this. Who knows? Or sorry, I'm in New York. Oh right, actually, speaking of New York, by the way, I had no idea that Hell's I like did a little, now that I like looked at it again, I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing. That Hell's Kitchen is a district in New York, and not just the Hell's Kitchen. Like, I thought it was just a restaurant, like it was just a Hell's Kitchen restaurant, but it's just a district that's called Hell's Kitchen. Right. I kind of forgot that that's a thing. Yeah. But okay, so then we got the main, well, first, before I get into the villains, at the very end we had the Creel versus Murdoch little poster thing on the gym. So I feel like that's going to be a very pivotal fight. Might have been the last fight he ever did. And Creel seemed to also, it was like a Legends fight or something, or Titans or maybe something like that. It was like, you know, big named boxers going at it. So Creel was also very big, and I assume that's going to come up again at some point. But yeah, and also the very end, the bad guy stole a kid. I'm not sure what's going to be the point of that, other than just like a child slave, maybe? Child sex slave, even? I don't know. But yeah, so Union Allied is our big bad. They are central bad, and then we have other sort of smaller bads that are sort of branching off from them and very connected to them. But with Union Allied, the one we know of right now is Did we get his name? I don't think we actually did. No, we did not. Just the guy that's always talking for the employer. I didn't write down his name. I don't think we got his name yet. And I went back through and I double checked to get all these guys' names and who is who and stuff like that. So I didn't hear them say it. Must be still no name for him yet. But anyway, for the employer himself, don't say his name at all. Okay. And they mainly are profiting off of damage done from superheroes, whether that be the battle at New York and stuff with Hell's Kitchen going on, obviously, or it could just be things in general that have been crazily going on, like, you know, whenever the Hulk goes out, like that was all. Where was that? That was in New York, wasn't it? It was also New York, I believe. Could have been Detroit, maybe. I'm not sure. Can't remember. But yeah, I mean, the cities get destroyed constantly. So, they're profiting off that somehow. I'm not sure how, but, insurances maybe, and stuff like that, perhaps. I'm not sure, but considering he's a lawyer, I assume we're going to get very into that. And I also, one of the big things I talked about was me not liking vigilantes, and I really think that it comes down to actually, and I think I said this, that I tend to not like media that portrays vigilantes because I just don't like the way that it does it. I think the best way to put it is, like, I'm not a fan of Kick-Ass. I don't like any of the Kick-Ass movies. I love Super. And I think those are two very incredibly similar movies. Very, very similar. But whereas Super is all about the tragicness and, like, it's not even, it has to be about, like, being a bit, like, when I say, I how do I phrase this? Basically, like, I think that what certain vigilantes do in certain superhero comics and things like that, are worth it. Like, I do support what they're doing. Even if it is illegal, even if it is, a bad thing, morally gray, I should say. I support it for certain things not, blah, blah, blah. But, for the most part, what bothers me more is when they try and act like they are a hero or they are doing the right thing. That is usually when it bothers me, or when there's a question brought up about it. When it's obvious, like, I think Batman is one of the most, I think that's just why I don't dislike Batman. I think it's one of the most clear-cut, he's terrible, I hate him. I don't think of him as much of a vigilante. I see him almost more of like a villain. He's terrible. But again, that's just my personal, you know, from the stuff I have seen. Obviously, I haven't seen all Batman stuff. I haven't, like, you know, I don't intend to. I'm not gonna watch some Batman stuff. I'm not gonna read Batman comics and everything like that. But, like, obviously, people are gonna be like, well, it's not like this because I've read all this other stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that I have seen myself. Obviously, you're gonna have bias. Everybody has bias. But yeah, so Murdoch going up against corporations instead of individual people. The fact that he is poor as shit, you know, that's one of my biggest things with Batman is just pour money into shit, but he doesn't. Like keeping him in jail. But yeah, I mean, Murdoch is going up against corporations, things that cannot be touched by the law. Like, you know, supervillain stuff can be touched by the law. It's not like Batman has fucking superpowers. He could just be spending all his money equipping the police with the stuff that he has. But instead he doesn't. I don't know why I'm getting into a Batman discussion. I think it's just because it's vigilantism, and I have very strong opinions on it. But, yeah, the fact that he's just fighting with fists, he doesn't fight with weapons or anything like that. He's going against corporations. That is why I am on board with Murdoch. That's why I like Murdoch. But anyway, on to our villains. So, we have Madame Gao, who is Chinese, and she is handling the drug ring operation. Seemingly just cocaine, maybe more than that. There was something going on with this guy's eyes when I rewatched it. Like, I don't know if we're making a parallel to the blindness that Murdoch has, but there's definitely something going on with their eyes. It doesn't seem like they're blind, because they're blinking a lot. They're not looking at what they're doing, which leads me to believe they're blind. But their eyes are all fucked up, which also leads me to believe they're blind. But their eyes are not fucked up enough to where it looks like they're blind. Like, it's not like they got their eyes poked out or something. They have their eyes open. They blink a lot. They look roundish. Not down or what they're doing at, but occasionally they look to the side or something, like, just whatever. So it doesn't seem like they're blind, but also Murdoch has his eyes open and blinks and stuff too. So it's like, it's blind people don't always close their eyes. But if they wanted us to immediately know that all these people were blind, I feel like they would have them have their eyes closed, or they'd have them have their eyes have no, like, all be all white, or they would have their eyes be gouged out or injured beyond repair or something. But so I'm not going to go off on a limb and say these guys are blind to make sort of parallel to Murdoch and what's going on with, like, maybe the chemicals or something. I'm not sure. But could be, but they're not going strong with it enough to where I'm going to say that's what's happening. But it's in the back of my mind. Maybe. Leland is the guy that was mainly holding the conversation, like, keeping it going before the... I'm not sure what to call him. The employer, like, he says my employer. I guess he's just like the employee. Should I just call him the employee? That's what we're going to do from now on. But, yeah, he was mainly keeping the conversation going until the employee got there. So Leland, I did not catch what nationality he is. I have no idea. I'm not sure what Leland as a nationality even is, like, name-wise. So I don't know. I would guess maybe American, because he's doing all the banking and transferring and stuff like that, so he might actually be American. I don't know. But if not, I don't know. It didn't come up. Like, Madame Gao, Chinese, she speaks Chinese. Nobu, Japanese, speaks Japanese. Then we have the two Russians, Vladimir and Anatoly, who were both doing the sort of sex slaves. Nobu's, I don't know what he's doing. He's got the blueprints and stuff. He barely ever talks. I'm not sure if it's going to be similar what he does, and in fact, the Hell's Kitchen and all that reminds me a lot of the Spider-Man video game that I played very, very little of, but, enough of. Yeah, it reminds me of that guy. I don't even remember what his name was, but, I'm not sure if we're going to do something there, like, if that's going to be connected. But it's interesting that we got these people from many different nationalities and stuff. I don't know. I don't know who Leland could be either. I don't know. But yeah, so Vladimir, Anatoly, and also Barrett are doing the sex slaves. Barrett seems to just be a lackey kind of guy. But he seems to be a little bit of higher level lackey. I think he was getting a Barrett there at the end, or Beretta at the end there. I'm not sure if that's where his name comes from or not, but he seems to be the gun guy. Rance was also the guy who was doing kidnapping and torture, but he's dead now. He was working with Union Allied. He was on their side of things. He was framed and killed. Then we have McClintock, who we never saw. He's the one who's taking the fall, and he's also dead now, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's basically all I have. Very interesting in Union Allied in general, but also just like very interesting in Union Allied specifically, but also just the whole group of them in general, which we don't really have a name for. I'm not sure if we will, because they're just kind of collective, allied, working together and stuff. But yeah, that's it. I highly recommend. I cannot fit it all into my reactions. I wish I could, but I could not. So, early access $4, full length $8. Picture in picture. You don't have to sync up anything. I do it for you. Don't worry about it. Go check it out, and see you guys for the next reaction. If you want to see it, go get early access. Till then, get the fuck out of here.